So intuit guidance is just that, guidance. Psychic reading is really specific. So taking that intuition and going in deeper where you actually can find out who, what, when, why, how on a timeline, when it's going to happen, or sometimes in the past, when it's happened. When you get really good at it, you can get it to a specific date. This is what a psychic reading is. It is being able to read all the information that is available, and everything is available based on quantum science. Remember, energy never begins and ends, just changes form. Remember, energy doesn't begin and end, just changes. Every thought, every action, every intention exists. I learned how to access that. The other thing that is a really important thing as we are developing ourselves is to track. So write down, get yourself a notebook or something like that, and write down every time you have whether it be a hunch or you're thinking about someone all the time. You might have a dream that you can't understand. You might get like a vision or hear some words, however you receive the information. Start writing it down. Then when it comes into your world, so either the person rings you that you were thinking of, or maybe you see on the news or someone tells you of something that's happened that was you dreamt about, or somehow where you can validate what you got, you're going to tick it off in a different color so it really stands out. You're going to date when you first get the information, and then when you can tick it off, you're then going to write the date that you can tick it off. You're also going to take note of how you received that information. Was it in a dream? Did I hear it? Did I see it? Did I just kind of know it? Did it just kind of plonk in my head? Did I get it as a body sensation? So how did I receive it? Which Claire was it? See, hear, feel, know. I'll tell you the secret, right? Because if you use the industry words, clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairgusto, what it actually does is create a block, slows down the information. Because your brain has to translate what does that word mean. Then you're going to have within your subconscious belief systems, whether it be from society or family, that tells you that that stuff isn't real. But if you just say, I hear, your brain knows you hear, because you've got ears. Your brain knows that you see. It's not going to create a block. Don't use the industry words. You're actually making it harder for yourself. Use the words that you already use as far as using your senses. Then when your ego gets really loud or someone tells you you can't do this, you're going to go back to that notebook and look at all the times you've ticked it off, because you're trying to override a belief system that you can't do this, this isn't real, it's not natural, we shouldn't be able to do it, everything that society has said. And that's going to remind you that you can do it. This is a process to help you develop trust in being able to read for yourself, is to write all this down. So there is all these different roads that you can take to be able to tick that lesson off. And in that's where the free will sits. One of mine was teaching. It was something that I had to do, and I kept not doing it. It would show up in my life first as teaching in corporate, then it was teaching kids, and then eventually in a spiritual space, and I kept not wanting to do that. And it just meant it kept pushing down the road because I had to do teaching. So my free will being, I'm really stubborn. I think I'm in control of my life. I'm really not. I've decided that I really shouldn't be in control of my life because I just make it harder for myself. I need to just follow what my guide wants me to do. It's so much easier now that I do that. But it was one of those things where that was a lesson. And so now that I'm ticking that off of my contract, I can move on to something else. So this is where our free will sits in. And so as a psychic reader, we don't want to disempower people by making out they've only got this one trajectory. It's not true. The lesson is the thing that's set, not the trajectory. The trajectory you can choose. One of our biggest challenges is trusting what we get, trusting if we're picking up something or it's us. We give us too much credit. We're not as awesome as we think we are, no matter what our ego looks like. All those bright ideas you take credit for, most of them aren't you. You're like, ooh, work this out in the shower. No, not you. That voice that was talking to you, not you. Driving the car and get a bright idea. No, you're in a rhythmic pattern and the information is flowing through you. Whenever you are doing something rhythmic that requires a little bit of cognitive ability, but not extensive, creates a flow effect, very much like in meditation. So information can just flow through you. So think about what you do. Sometimes it's vacuuming, might be washing the dishes, washing the car, going for a drive, walking but not listening to anything. Wherever you have some kind of rhythmic, normally a physical action tied to it. So your brain actually has something to do, because your brain is distracted doing the physical activity that allows the information to flow through. Who's ever got some really awesome information and they were doing something else? Driving, Could be in the shower. Sometimes it's like doing housework. I always think that's, great reason to vacuum. Not that I do that. But those types of things, right? Because your body's focusing on doing something. Your brain has something to do. It has to be busy. You can't silence your brain. That's a whole lot, once again, bullshit, right? They say in meditation, you can't quieten it. It actually can only stay quiet for about 90 seconds and it starts making up stuff. You can't sit idle. Gardening's a perfect one, for sure. All right, these are elements of a psychic reading. A psychic reading covers being able to dive into a relationship, what the relationship is made up of, who it is, what they look like, what the relationship structure is like, how long the relationship's existed. These are all elements of a psychic reading. With health, you'll be able to find out if someone's got a health condition, what it looks like, whether it's diagnosed, how to resolve it. This is all information that you can find out in a psychic reading. Also money, what's happening in money, what's the money story, someone's money story, but also the history of the money and what is changing, what will change around it. Career, whether they're on the right path or not, and how to change that. This is what we look at. In the family structure, so what family is? That family is also extended family, so not just everyone under the one roof. It is also all the family structure. You cover that in a psychic reading. So all the dynamics of it. Travel, if someone is traveling, where they're going, what that looks like, what's going to happen there. This is all parts of what you look for in a psychic reading, what you get. You can also be able to ascertain when you're looking at career, if someone is on purpose to their soul contract. Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? And by that, you can actually be able to ascertain off someone and out of their energy what their soul gifts are, to be able to work out, are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Are they ticking the boxes on their soul contract? This is all things that we do in a psychic reading. You need to be able to have a clear mind. Now, that's not an easy thing in this day and age because we're distracted. So it's like, how do you limit your distractions so you can allow yourself to have clarity of mind? One of them is limit your electronic device exposure as much as you can. Try and give yourself some time that is as close as you can have based on life, just you time. No kids, no partner, no pets, no distractions with music or devices, just you. It's kind of hard to find that space, right, in a modern life. That is really important. It's like, can you find like 5 to 10 minutes of silence, like dead set silence? If you can sit in silence with your eyes closed, perfect. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get really noisy inside, or your head's going to get really noisy, which is great because that's your inner wisdom kind of coming up. As I said, don't start with a big crazy period of time. Start small, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then when you get really good at it, bump it out, but start small. But if you do like grounded, structured education with coaching in a group scenario, then what I'm going to show you is for you. And we also offer ongoing support for sure. So the Intuit Psychic course, it's going to show you how to connect and how to open and close safely. It's going to show you how to avoid things that are going to trip you up, how to read in a really ethical way. It's structured over what we call modules, and there are six self-paced modules and 7 live coaching calls. They go for about 90 minutes. There's tutorial videos, there's meditations within it, there's practical exercises, there's workbooks, there's handouts. There is a awesome private Facebook group with really awesome humans in it. There's ongoing support. So even when you finish the course, you don't actually finish, like you can go in there and ask questions. We all answer them like forever, pretty much, unless you decide you don't want to hang out with us anymore. In a psychic reading, anything that can happen in a life can come up in a reading, anything. And if you can imagine some people's lives, and even if you reflect maybe even on your own, there are some things that you may have experienced, or you know people have experienced that you wouldn't really want anyone to experience those things. They come up in a reading. And how do you maneuver through that, staying ethical, being authentic, still covering it off, and doing no harm?